Welcome to Status Quo, where WNYC blowtorched so hard it blew our brains out of our heads and cleared our schedules until next year. But anyways, welcome to the ERN Podcast.
I don't think clearing schedules was the right word. I think it was more like it filled up our schedules with lots and lots of mental health problems.
Welcome to
I
2022.
think it means it filled up Noah's IT guy with the idea to unplug the web servers running weather.gov.
Oh, we can talk about that, yeah. But anyways, welcome to the ERN Podcast. We got a great selection of people here. We got Isaiah, Lawson, John, Gabe, and myself. We are not sorry for missing 3 episodes in a row. We took that as our quote-unquote break time. So we'll be back. But yeah, so yeah, welcome to the ERN Podcast.
He says we'll be back as in, like, we'll be back next year because this episode is actually just a front to get you guys to come in and listen.
It's the ploy. But anyways, yeah, we got a fleet of EAS news to talk about today, and for that, John, do you want to start it off?
Yeah,
Sure, why not? All right.
We got some EAS tidbits because I'm bringing on that.
Oh, maybe that's what we should call this episode is EAS tidbits.
And I also have some news for a couple weeks out, which is actually good for people to prepare now. But so my first little section is Spectrum relayed a immediate evacuation notice for multiple eastern North Pacific Ocean zones, which was caused by the National Weather Service in Los Angeles sending an NWEM incorrectly for Los Angeles County because of the route fire, which is in the Castaic area.
I can actually provide a little bit of context to this.
Yeah,
it's more of an instance of like yes, in the eastern North Pacific Ocean and like all of those. Is that because the tweet that we saw was a freaking DASDEC. DASDECs don't go into detail for marine locations.
Yeah, so it just shows you the general area, right?
So yeah, it shows you like the general area. So like eastern North Pacific Ocean could be like a very specific area that's actually defined within FIPS. That just the DASDEC just doesn't.
Yeah, like 20 nautical miles out from shore.
There's one that it went into specific with Port Conception to Guadalupe Island.
Yes.
Interesting.
What?
Because that's its own marine location. I'm honestly thinking, like, if we're like speculating here, I'm thinking that whichever Spectrum head end picked that up, it's probably just the entire coverage area of the transmitter that they got it from.
Mm-hmm. Oh, kind of like how NWR only does certain areas per transmitter.
Yeah, so for say in Tennessee, if there's an Amber Alert, all the alerts are for the specific counties that are being covered instead of a statewide code.
Oh yeah, so like if an Amber Alert went out for Montana, it would only show your specific counties around you.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yep.
And it just happened to be one. You said that could have been all of them.
Yeah, it might have been.
Do you actually want to know?
It might have been the entire cluster because of the way that BMH is.
Do you want to know where Spectrum got it from?
They got it from CBS, didn't they?
No, they got it from KCBS FM, which is
CBS.
Odyssey owned in Los Angeles. It's called Jack FM, and I'm pretty sure there is some sort of primary in Los Angeles, if I'm not correct. There might not be, but they're one of the primaries.
Yeah,
it's one of the flagship CBS radio stations, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
and, like iHeart having Kiss FM, which is overrated, but I digress.
Yeah, kind of going back over to the BMH thing, because the way that the BMH works at each office is that it's a single server that relays a lot of that information to respective instances, because it just all of the instances run on a single box that acts as the AWIPS EDEX server, and then those specific outputs are sent to the transmitters. So if one of them goes off, for the entirety of the office's coverage area, every single output would have gone off.
Yeah.
The one thing I've definitely noticed, like last year when Sterling did a SPS and it had like a lot of BMH, like they've never toned for like 051999 or something, that if BMH like royally screws up or like they misconfigure their config for that type of alert, it will literally like cause BMH's NWR push to be really weird.
So
really?
051999 is a official
051999 doesn't really exist. It's not an actual area.
Location.
But Sterling, when they sent the SPS last year for the Skyward activation, or whatever, SVS or whatever it was, they did 051999, which I have never seen before up until then.
They probably mistyped the header that
they
went over
did
to
say
the
it was. They did tell me that it actually was sent in error, like they weren't supposed to send it.
Yeah,
which is the same thing
which would make
with the
sense.
Los Angeles
I would hope
office.
so.
999 or 099 is in the spec is defined as a test location. So
anything that usually ends in 999 is usually test, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So what's actually really funny is that even though like Los Angeles County OEM actually sent out a message, and one of their lines, and I kid you not, is, quote, "We cannot comment on broadcaster configuration of EAS receivers and welcome further engagement with local broadcasters and Los Angeles County FCC, local emergency communication committee to find root causes of this incident." You literally know exactly what the cause of it is.
Yeah.
That's so...
You just need to go to the source.
This kind of reminds me of the T-Mobile thing from a bit back. They wouldn't own up to it.
Genuinely, the biggest thing I've actually also heard from a lot of emergency management and also broadcasting is it takes a lot of trust in both the broadcast and the emergency management like agencies to build that trust to send out these alerts. Because if you fuck up, basically, if you fuck up something, your local broadcasters are going to be like, "Why are we sending this shit?" Kind of like New Hampshire demos. Why are we sending this shit? That's why no one sends it. Similar to Arizona's Silver Alert system. Not many broadcasters send it because they're like, why? I mean,
why is there so many?
Good system, overused. Good system. I will give them credit when credit is due. But like that extremely important relationship between your broadcasters and your emergency management agencies is crucial to maintain.
Yeah, because you got to think that relationship has to be tight because the broadcasters are literally the main method for getting your emergency management message out.
Like TV, radio, cable. If they're not sending your EAS alerts for like anything really serious, and like that's the only method, how is that going to get out to the public? Think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have other methods. You have WEA and
of course.
Well, the thing with using mobile phones is that the thing with mobile phones that no one actually knows about unless you have a specific thing with your data company is that if you're not involved with a government or emergency management agency and it's a national emergency, the government and local and major wireless carriers will actually shut off your phone's data unless you have that specific profile or system on your device that gives you data. So it's kind of, I don't remember what it's called, but it's like some weird system the government has that like, you know how they're like, don't use your telephone in the event of an emergency to keep the lines open?
It's there to conserve.
That's basically what that is, but cell data.
It's to conserve the bandwidth to the network.
Pretty much, yeah. Mm-hmm. So that system does exist. That is not a myth. It does exist.
Do you know what carriers participate in that, or is that most of them?
I know AT&T. I know AT&T does. I know. I'm going to assume T-Mobile and other major carriers also do. I might have to do more research on that, but I know someone told me about that, and I don't know much about it.
I would say it's probably a good bet if your carrier throttles your data after a certain threshold. They can probably do it at will.
And also at the request of the government.
The thing is, though, like with just turning off data entirely, that could bring on a whole new can of worms in terms of public safety.
That is true.
I feel like it would be more of a throttle to, like, let's say LTE speeds instead of 5G ultra wideband.
That's true. One thing I definitely noticed is that when AT&T sometimes shuts off my data, I still can get like SMS text type messages through like certain systems. So like those messages will still go through. Like Fairfax Alerts.
Yeah, because
has, like, a 5-digit phone
SMS
number.
SMS runs off the voice connection.
Yeah, not the data connection. Data is different from the voice connection, so you can probably still get those emergency text alerts.
The only main messaging system that uses the internet is iMessage.
Nope.
That's the main
iMessage doesn't support RCS or whatever it is.
RCS is what I was.
Well, no, like what I'm saying is it's one that uses the data line, not the voice line.
Yeah.
RCS, depending on which app you're using, will also use the data line. Like if you're using Google Messages on Android, it'll use the data line.
Yeah, anything that's not built-in SMS will use your data line because it's not a carrier-provided function.
If your messages fail in iMessage, you can actually make it send
force it through SMS.
Force it through SMS. Good feature.
Yep, and I've had to do that plenty of times out here in Montana.
Should I go to my next point because it might take a little bit because I have to go through a long list of stuff.
Sure.
If you want, let's do it.
So this is actually really good. I came across this. So as we all know, there is no national test this year. Correct? There is no national test. However, what people may not know is that released a couple days ago, the Federal Communications Commission has announced a waiver for 42 alert originators to conduct wireless emergency alert tests on the 12th and, I believe it is the 12th and 13th of September. They are 42 agencies. They've worked with them. And as we all know, WEA is targeted. And what they're trying to do with this test is, like, as we all know, like, WEA. Boxes,
it's a WEA national test instead of national alert.
It's not national. This is not a national test. This is a local test that state or local emergency commissions have opted in with the FCC to conduct this test. And surprisingly, from what I've been able to come out with, this is to test how far these alerts bleed. And so they're testing it.
Interesting.
With like 1/2 or 1 mile polygons around a certain location. And I actually have a list of all of those agencies that have signed up to do this test. And it's a lot. Believe it or not, it's actually a lot. And
you said it was 46,
you'll know a couple. 42. 42.
Okay.
And so I'll just go through the name and the state, basically. Grundy County, Illinois, Sutter County, California, King, Washington, San Diego, Jefferson, Colorado, state of Idaho, city of Chicago, city of Norfolk in Virginia, Marion County, Florida, Chester, Pennsylvania, Charlotte, Mecklenburg, North Carolina, Pierce, Washington, Laguna Beach, California, Butte County, California, Sheridan, Wyoming, Pitkin, Colorado, Bannock County, Idaho. We all know that one. Oklahoma Department of Emergency Management for Beckham County, Suffolk County, New York, Pennsylvania, Pima in Pennsylvania, Gilmer, Georgia, Delaware County in Ohio, Thurston, Washington, Chula Vista, California, more Californias, a lot of California, surprisingly, Sedgwick County, Kansas, our favorite Monday with siren test, combined Colorado crap, Kitsnap, Washington, Oconee, Georgia. Don't care. Kitsap. Sorry. Flagler County, Florida. Cambria, Pennsylvania. Berrien County, Michigan. Orange County, California. Kitcom, Washington. Adams County, Washington. Summit County, Colorado. Treasure County, Montana. Oklahoma for the city of Woodward. McDonough County, South Carolina. Calhoun County, Michigan. And finally, which I did not know, Fairfax County is participating in this test.
Interesting.
I didn't know they send WEAs. This is the first one I've ever heard them send a WEA.
So depending on the time, depending on the time / which day that they're actually going to be doing that test, I might be able to go and get that because my employer is in King County.
It's King County. Let me find it. So it's
you did say Treasure County, Montana, right?
I did say Treasure County, Montana.
Okay, which is awesome because it is literally a population of 762. The entire county.
They're doing it, and you know what's funny? You're gonna kick yourself when you realize that test is only for a 0.69 mile radius.
Nice.
And they actually, so all
and
these
tests
are
occurring.
occurring.
It's closer to Billings than me.
So they're doing all these tests on the 12th or the 13th, and the backup date is 7 days later, and it'll be at, I think, usually they're going to be at like 10 to 6 p.m., 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and I will send out to you guys the list of all the agencies and their coordinates for the test, because they all have like radiuses and polygons and whatnot. Okay. And so they haven't actually told us like what like type of alert it will be, but it'll be 90 and 360 characters, and they will have the option to use Spanish as well. And this will be done in both controlled and uncontrolled environments, where like people from that agency will go out in radius and like find out if they get the alert. And then it will also be like the public will get it, and they'll be like, tell us if you're within this area, or tell us if you understand the alert. So no NPT, but this just came up like 3 days ago, and someone sent me it. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually genuinely excited to see how this goes. So keep your eyes out.
I'm genuinely excited because literally Treasure County, Montana is almost 1,000 square miles, and they only have 762 people with one incorporated town.
Nice. I'm gonna put this in discussion if you want to see the legit amount of whatever's going on here. There's if it uploads, because Discord is genuinely broken with uploads right now. So,
but yeah,
good stuff from the FCC. I did not know they were going to do this. So if you're in the ERN server, keep an eye on the software logs so you can see these WEAs come in, because they will be definitely interesting to look at. Because I don't know what format. I don't know the text. I don't know the surveys. I don't know any of that. They don't discuss that.
So TLDR, we don't know a ton about this. We're gonna kind of just go with it as it goes.
Well, we know the dates. We know the dates. The time. We know areas. The times. We know the location. We know who. And we don't know exactly how they're gonna do it. But
we don't know the execution.
Considering the FCC approved this, I'm genuinely surprised that this is going to happen. Because FCC doesn't.
And there's also it's probably also a pretty good chance of it not being a freaking test alert. Because if the idea is to get as much information as possible, they're going to send that shit over.
I'm going to guarantee it. That's probably going to be an LAE. Local area emergency, because the local area emergency, believe it or not, in most plans is actually used as a blanket test alert. And I shit you not, that's actually true. So you see all these LEEs go out for tests. It's actually FCC. I forgot who it says. FCC or FEMA said that you can use an LEE for a test. It's actually allowed.
Yeah, a fun fact.
Who made that decision?
The last national test that went over WEA and the national WEA test, the national WEA test went over as an NPT on IPAWS, but the one in 2020, 2021 test. There was one in 2020. The 2021 test went over as a weekly.
That was true. That was actually intentional, I think, believe it or not.
Yeah, it was intentional.
I am interested
to send it as a test alert, as opposed to like a presidential alert, which
we will see what they have for next year, because I will definitely be in contact with the people I know and see if they know anything about it just yet, because it's just around the corner.
I'm sure y'all already know my opinion on this, but I think that they should do another EAN test.
Yep,
I know.
We were talking about it in the last episode, I think.
It's been 12 years, right? It was 2011, right?
11.
Yeah,
11 years.
It'll actually no. This will be the 10. I think this month will actually be the 10-year anniversary. Hold on.
Well, it's 2022.
It was in 2011. What are you?
This will be the 11th.
11th year.
I can't count. Sorry, it's
been there.
It'll be the 11th.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. I kind of hope that we get more in terms of the national testing. just because it's been, it's been so long.
We've gone so long without a proper EAN test.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, like it was the EAN test went well, it went. But
it went.
But now that they're doing NPTs, like it's really not the same.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
So, yeah, fun times.
But yeah, anyway, so do we want to move on to one of our next topics?
Yeah, sure.
Do we want to do the let's see.
Okay, it just
we
posted.
We could talk about
it just posted in discussion, by the way, if you want to take a look at the locations.
Talk about security. We can talk about security stuff and our wonderful things and stuff. So,
of cybersecurity
with your friendly neighborhood IT guy. Anyways,
we should make that a series on here. The ERN cybersecurity course with resident IT professional Gabriel McMillan.
So for those of you who follow cybersecurity, DEF CON 30 was pretty recent. It happened sometime last month, and in case you guys don't know, DEF CON is a conference. It's a cybersecurity conference that's held in Vegas, where basically like you just talk about security vulns, how to get into certain things. It's just kind of like a place where everybody can get together and all that stuff. And like actually like funnily enough, a bunch of people from the government actually go to visit DEF CON. Like you see a lot of federal officers going over to see the stuff that they've been working on. And sometimes they'll even present.
And I haven't really followed DEF CON that much, but lately I'm definitely getting into it a little more.
Oh, dude, some of the DEF CON talks are really cool. If you're ever interested in like cybersecurity and hacking, DEF CON is a really fun thing to watch. Just watching some of those panels are great. But yeah, so at DEF CON, there was going to be there was a panel about how the emergency alert system in its current state is inherently insecure.
Very insecure at that too.
I said, yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, about how insecure it was. Department of Homeland Security got wind of that and issued a warning, because now that they realize, oh crap, the cybersecurity community has EAS devices, they're going to rip those things to shreds. And that's what they did.
As if we already didn't
Enter
do that ourselves.
DASDEC. Enter DASDEC pre-version 4, right?
I thought it was, pre-version 4, yeah.
Enter DASDEC.
I remember the two main versions that were unsecure were 2.6 and 3.
2 and 3. Yeah, so... And 1.0 hasn't been supported since the DASDEC 2 came out. So y'all want some security stuff? Well, allow me to introduce you to the fact that for DASDEC updates, in case you didn't know, the update from 3.0 to 4.0 is actually a full OS reinstall. It went from Fedora 10, codenamed Cambridge, over to CentOS 6.9. Nice.
How old was Fedora 10 at that time?
Cambridge? Hold on. I'll have to pull that one.
It was it was decently outdated, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was outdated. It was outdated when they were using it.
Yeah, it's more than a decade if I remember correctly.
Fedora. So FC10 was released on a November 25th, 2008.
Yeah, so at the time where 4 came out, it was over 10 years old.
Yes. Even then, CentOS 6.9 is still not great.
It's not the newest, but it's newer.
Well, CentOS is getting axed, so that's at that point they should switch to full on RHEL. But
get ready for another OS reinstall, DASDEC users.
Well, actually, rel to CentOS conversions are pretty easy. Are pretty easy and don't require a full OS reinstall for that.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to remap your package repositories and do an update.
Yeah,
it'll convert itself basically. That's besides the point,
with the package. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's besides the point. Basically, the DASDEX pre CentOS 6.9 variant. So anything before the 4.0 upgrade was vulnerable to an Apache web server. Apache web server vulnerability, and also a vulnerability with the backend server that runs the DASDEC stuff, because the Apache web server, in case you don't know, the Apache web server runs something called CSP, where it's basically just like an executable that's being ran on a backend server, and Apache is just acting as a reverse proxy to it.
Yeah.
And a vulnerability within both Apache and that CSP server, it allowed full admin access without knowing the admin credentials.
All you had to know was the admin username, correct? Which is...
Yeah, you needed to know the admin username, and you needed to send something. You needed to send a data package. I'm not going to say which one it was for security reasons, as there are.
What would
I'm not going to say what it is for security
funny?
reasons, but yeah. What's up?
Gabe, what would genuinely be funny is if people are dumb, and given people are, they probably just kept their admin username to admin, unless that's something you actually have to change.
It is required to do that.
Oh my god! Someone did something smart.
It is required to keep it as admin.
It's required to keep it admin because that's how the DASDEC software is written around, right?
Yep.
Well, they kind of made that their own problem then.
Yeah. But actually,
post 3.0,
post 3.0 and above actually do require it to change the default admin password, but 2.6 you could just keep that thing as DASDEC.
Mm-hmm. Isn't there a certain program that requires you to change it away from admin to keep it not easy to hack?
I'm not sure.
I think I
know it's mandated now that you have to change your password. I don't know about the usernames.
The username is something that gets kept the same.
Yeah,
that's besides the point. That's
the username changing thing is on the equipment manufacturers if they want to require it or not, but the password is mandated by Part 11.
That's a fair point.
But yeah, so this individual who was at DEF CON was able to get a hold of a OneNet SE.
OneNet gang.
They were able to get a hold of a OneNet SE that used to belong to Comcast, and because in between transit between Comcast and their certified destruction facility, the package got intercepted by somebody, and they put it up on eBay, and that's how the security researcher got it. Now, the people at Comcast did not clear some information off of it, and they were able to. Some information was discovered about how Comcast's aggregation works. Which
is their own custom stuff, right?
And I will talk about that here in a second because it's actually really interesting. But yeah, the guy who actually got that equipment said, they were sitting there thinking, holy shit, somebody could start a civil war with this thing.
And that is a direct quote. Yes.
That is a direct quote from that individual. And we can share the name of these issues to Department of Homeland Security, FBI, FEMA, and the manufacturer of the equipment. And it wasn't until that the dude was going to bring this shit up to DEF CON that they actually issued an advisory about it.
Yeah, and this we can release the name of this person since it's already publicly available. This is researcher Ken Pyle, and he is a partner at security firm Cyber.
That is CYBIR.
Yes. So and I've seen a couple of things from this guy, so I know that this guy is trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think it's good. Yeah. I think it's good that someone good found it out before someone bad could wreak havoc. And yeah, I mean, at least nothing bad came out of that. At least they're aware of it and they're probably working on a fix. But like, no one did anything really stupid yet.
It is very. The way that the DASDEC is written is very with the way that DASDEC is written, it's very hard to upgrade the 2.6 devices because they probably don't have metrics on which ones are running 2.6 or 3.0 or 3.1.
So you just got to put out a bulletin and hope for the best.
And that's what they did. They put Digital Alert Systems did put out a bulletin saying.
Which, speaking of Digital Alert Systems, check out their new website. It's actually a lot better than the last one.
Oh yeah, they updated their website. Too bad the DASDEC's web interface is still hot.
Yeah, too bad they didn't update the web interface.
Anyways, yeah. But yeah, kind of going back to the Comcast thing. We were talking earlier, and I thought I would give a little bit of a rundown of Comcast's EAS aggregation system because it's actually kind of cool. Comcast designed and built this aggregation system, and there are certain carriers that use it. For example, if you're running a box from Cox, the Contour series, our favorite Contour, they use the same aggregation system. If you're up in Canada, Shaw uses it, and I believe one other carrier up there uses Comcast's system as well for the Alert Ready system.
Cox took Comcast's system and made it worse.
Yeah, Comcast is rock solid, and here's why. So Comcast, their boxes, so they don't have cable based force tune. Mm-hmm. Now you may be asking yourself, wait, what? What do you mean they don't have cable based force tune? Well, most Comcast boxes are operating off of IP now, and like for example, the box that I got from Comcast doesn't even have a cable line on it. I just have it hooked up to Ethernet, and
which is a lot more at this point in technology. It's more reliable. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, it may be not like the same reliability, but it's close enough that the downside of it doesn't.
Yeah, actually, fun fact: if you have
financially a bad idea.
Fun fact: if you have the wireless,
mine still runs off a cable, like a screw in the cable thing.
The actual protocol going over its IP. It's MoCA, and that's this
because they have to fetch the data, right?
Yep. They still have to fetch their data. It is that it uses MoCA to actually the boxes actually communicate with the modem. Because if you have the wireless boxes, it uses the modem to connect to the Comcast network, which is interesting. But that's I digest that. Wait, whatever.
I digest.
Yes, I digest food. I digress. Anyway, the way that the Comcast aggregation system works is that they still have DASDECs and EasyCaps at the head end. So what they do is they use EASnet, which is or EASnet, and I forget I think it's just the MPEG dash feed on the EasyCaps.
On the OneNet, yeah. Or I guess on the DASDEC.
Yeah. On the DASDEC it's pure EASnet.
Yeah.
But basically what they do is that they have a aggregation server that those DASDECs will send their alerts to. And there is a central server that the boxes will just pull this server like a cat feed. And what it'll do is that if it finds basically what the box does was that it takes the zip code from your account that you have for your main address on your account, converts that uses the server to convert that to a FIPS code, and then pulls that server looking for that FIPS code. And whenever it finds that FIPS code in an alert, it'll take the MPEG dash stream link and stream it as if it were a force tune. So that's how Comcast is able to get that. And the same thing applies to all of Comcast platforms. And that's how Comcast is able to get EAS on mobile devices whenever you're streaming from your Comcast box. Or on the web browser.
It's all the same. It's all the same thing.
Yes.
So basically,
if you think about it, if the box is running over IP, you just think of it as it's literally just a web browser that's just taking the data and.
It isn't, mind you. It is running custom code.
So basically, if you're ever wondering why your Comcast or Cox box, whatever, like randomly quote force tunes to a channel, that's basically what it's doing. Streaming that.
It loads for a second because because it's just loading the MPEG dash MPEG dash.
Mine
feed.
takes a good 5 seconds. My box is so old; it takes so long. It's funny.
Yeah.
I told my parents to get a new box, and they haven't actually listened yet. And given if Cox ever upgrades their DAS deck like they ever will, it could support HD scrolls, but that's gonna happen with Cox.
And they still do. Well, they still do have like the SCTE 18 Force Tune stuff set up for their legacy devices, their non-X1 devices, like the SARA boxes.
Yeah, because you have to take backwards compatibility.
SARA is an operating system developed by Scientific Atlanta and now Cisco that runs a bunch of cable guides. If you've seen one from Scientific Atlanta in the mid 2000s, that's SARA. If you have Spectrum, they use SARA.
What I'm genuinely like really what's really funny about this is I once actually asked Cox what type of EAS type system they use for the cable blocks, and they literally told me that was proprietary information. Look who's laughing now.
So, fun fact. Speaking of Cox.
Oh, no, I'm kidding.
So
what did they break this time?
They didn't break anything this time. I'm going to explain to them the thing that they do. So Cox, right? So at one point, Comcast was experimenting with some stuff, right? Comcast was experimenting with a software EAS solution. And Cox took that, made it 15 times worse, and deployed that to production. So, if you ever see the black screen,
emergency alert red bar.
Emergency alert red bar on Cox. Mind you, on Cox specifically. 9 times out of 10, those headers are undecodable as shit.
Still an FCC violation.
It's like ZCZC. It's ZCZC dash the capital identifier plus the time. No call sign.
That's it.
Which I mean, that's to be fair, though. Well, is it though, because it's a cable system?
Cable systems are still bound by Part 11.
Part 11 requires a sender ID.
Part 11 requires a sender ID. It requires valid EAS tones and required tests. Also, fun fact, so I've actually gotten a hold of the feed, the Comcast feed. Now, and if you want a freaking trip, get the feed link, refresh it at like midnight Eastern, right? And then you'll see a bunch of ones that say something along the lines of synthetic test alert, right? You slap the MPEG dash link into VLC, okay? And this dude starts spouting out about just some random emergency preparedness steps. The date on the freaking DAS deck screen is from like 2016. And if you listen closely, it starts spouting out something about like, so if you ever been
water contamination.
No, well, it wasn't the water contamination. It was
the water heater.
Oh my god!
It started spouting out about the water heater. That was a trip whenever I first heard that one.
Comcast, if you're listening to us, if you're going to do that and just play audio like that, can you please stop flushing toilets on it?
And Comcast, if you're listening,
toilets.
And Comcast, if you're listening, don't shut down my service.
I just, by the way, fun fact, I just checked Part 11, and Cox has one good thing and one bad thing. ZCZ to data requires, quote, at least a 1 second pause, so it doesn't necessarily say 1 second. Second of all, the data specifically has LLLLLLL, which is the identification of the broadcast system.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is the identification of broadcast system. These, quote, these codes will be automatically affixed to all outgoing messages by the EAS encoder.
Which is not actually. So here's the thing, too. Part 11, every single manufacturer of EAS devices that are approved under Part 11 are publicly available to people who just browse around on the FCC website.
Mm-hmm.
That shit ain't approved there, bud.
So in theory, is that even allowed to be used in a live environment?
Nope.
Nope.
So
who wants to
come to get away? You could probably report that.
Who wants to? I'm not doing it again.
I already have open.
Should I
already
actually
have
do
open
it?
reports.
Wait, you actually sent it
want-
to them
John's
already?
choice.
No.
Do it, Cameron. Do it. I don't care, Cameron. Do it. If they ask
Maybe
you, if they
later.
ask
We'll
you
talk
for your
about
No,
it.
John should be the if y'all are gonna actually report them, John should be the one to do it because John has video evidence.
I have the feed evidence too.
And I am not a
Cox.
Comcast customer
Cox
or a
is-
Cox customer.
Cox is
It's Cox. Comcast.
Well, yeah.
Comcast nowadays are using DASDEX and EasyCaps.
Comcast sender
As they
IDs
should
are almost always Comcast.
Yep.
Which I have neither of those here.
EAS
It's
Pop
Spectrum
Quiz.
or nothing.
Hold on a second.
Hold on a second, everyone. He says.
Oh, never mind. There will be an EAS Pop Quiz here shortly. Continue.
Okay. So, yeah. So, TLDR, Comcast's system is rock solid. Works really well.
That's why. That's one of the reasons why.
much.
That's one of the reasons why I want to have another EAN test because I want to see that thing live.
You want to see
Die.
You want to see how Comcast.
I want to
handles.
see how that thing live interrupts because that would be so cool to watch the EAN go over live like that through the aggregation.
That's genuinely actually that could actually use like a. Couldn't
the
it just
DASDEC
use the
supports
actual?
it. The DASDEC does support streaming over the
Yeah.
MPEG dash feed, so that's why I was like, "Ooh, that would be so cool to see."
Yeah, I'm gonna do it on my computer real quick because I'm not dumb. So I'm just gonna prop that over. You can watch.
But
me
yeah,
submit reports.
That actually, now that you mention that, I think that would be very interesting to see how that system handles it.
Oh, by the way, the synthetic test alerts are back on the Comcast feed. It's like 4 of them again.
Yeah.
Cox has
So
them
while
too, but you can't decode them.
While we wait for Gabe to create a pop quiz for us, for you to listen to. Yeah. Gabe's got a freeze frame. I'm sure he's just doing that to mess with us.
That's not intentional, actually. My camera straight up froze.
Thanks, OBS. But anyways, yeah. You wanna pop quiz us here?
Hold on, I haven't pulled it up yet.
Oh. But yeah, so just to kind of give you an idea of what else we're going to be talking about in today's episode, I got an article here from nextgov.com, and I've been seeing it around. This is just one that had a little bit more information on it. But the Department of Homeland Security is testing new technology that could bring emergency alerts to your vehicle. So that'll be an exciting one to hear.
Guys,
I'm ready now.
You're gonna kick yourself. You're gonna kick yourself.
So
the FCC has a field in there for the EAS now. Like there's an actual box for just EAS now instead of just general complaints.
by the way,
No, it's
They
been there for a
expected
while.
me. Really?
By the
I didn't
way-
see it before.
so fun.
Anyways, so Gabe, pop quiz time.
Here's the pop quiz. If you are on the East Coast or were in Texas at one point, and you see an emergency alert with the call sign of VH07 space ZN1 or something along those lines, which provider is that?
Wait, what was the sender ID again?
VH07 ZN1 or something along those lines.
That sounds like Spectrum.
Verizon. That sounds like Verizon.
There you go. John got it. It's FiOS.
Really?
That's a FiOS.
Yeah, I was
call
also
sign.
about to say Verizon.
Although that actually is no longer true. That is actually no longer true.
So I probably should have
Ever
said.
since Verizon switched to
probably-
EasyCap, and now all the Verizon call signs with their new EasyCaps is just Verizon with only the V capitalized.
So to make it better, I probably should have said specifically if you are in the specific area when this cable provider used Easy Plus units.
Oh, okay.
Because that's when that was. Anyways, there's your pop quiz for the day. Tune in next week, hopefully,
For
if you want
maybe
for
another
more
pop
quizzes.
For maybe another
I
pop quiz.
actually have the email of the Washington D.C. FCC complaint person. Hold on, I'm emailing them. Why do I have their email? I don't know. Cool.
Yeah, Cam, do you want to continue on that subject?
But yeah, so let's go on. So once again, this is sources from nextgov.com. And so there are reports that the Department of Homeland Security is testing new technology that could bring emergency alerts to your vehicle screens using iPause. So let's see. So the technology works with the Federal Emergency Management Agency's Integrated Public Alert System to display hazard and evacuation alerts on the center console of your vehicle. You guys have any initial thoughts on that?
Wasn't that already tested?
Sirius XM already does that.
HD Radio
already does that, but but outside of Sirius XM, what do you guys think? If it could be
HD Radio HD Radio was supposed to support that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
That was actually why I sent you that thing, and it actually had the. Wait, didn't I? Oh yeah, the MPT. Actually, I'll have to cover that after you're done. Carry on. I have a thing for that.
Yeah, so it's with so Department of Homeland Security Science and Technologies Directorate tested the Wildland Urban Interface Integration Model as part of an incorporation with FEMA and iPause. It allows authorities to disseminate WEA alerts with quote new capabilities such as displaying hazard and evacuation alert info on infotainment screens. And it should allow for near real-time dissemination of critical information in vehicles.
So, imagine you're driving down the road in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, right?
Montana.
Kansas, Western Kansas.
You're driving in the middle of nowhere in Utah.
Haze.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So you're driving in the middle of nowhere in
Wyoming.
Right-wing political signs everywhere. People in the middle, like, I don't know, doing whatever, like, I don't know, shooting cow or something. I don't give a shit. Anyways, that's besides the point. It's just kind of painting a picture. So,
accurate picture of Western. Yeah.
Anyways, you're driving through. All those things are happening. You're listening to your favorite metal tracks on your phone. And then all of a sudden, you're hearing blistering metal tunes on Onyx Metal Radio. And then you're scrolling through, going by, and then music stops. And then you hear the wonderful, sweet, sweet sounds of, and then in your car, at system level volume, mind you. So first off, that's the loudest thing you've ever heard. Glass shatters everywhere around you. And it's, oh shit, there's a severe thunderstorm warning in our area. Perhaps we should probably leave, you say to the passenger as you speed off at 70 miles per hour on the freeway. End scene.
Oh my god.
This is what happens when you get me in the podcast. I'll do shit like this.
Hey, it's worth it.
Yes, it is worth it. I would agree.
Anyways. That's besides the point. But yeah, no. Honestly, this is actually going to be a pretty interesting system. I'm happy to see this outside of the HD radio and Sirius XM space. I know that Sirius XM Travelink is a thing, and I actually been in a couple cars that have it. It's kind of cool when it works. When it doesn't work, it's kind of weird. Like my dad's pickup truck, it was a 2016 Chevy Silverado at the time. Whenever you had Sirius XM Travelink, you had Sirius XM Travelink on it for like the first couple of weeks because, you know, got the new car trial and shit, right? And Chevy had a really interesting implementation at the time. They had a weather app.
As GM usually does.
They had a weather app, right? This weather app went through Travelink. It did not go through OnStar.
Interesting.
So you'd go to the weather app. You'd see the weather information for the zip code that you put in. But it also had the world's shittiest radar app of all time. It only showed green. First off, it only showed green. Second of all, it was a 24 by 24 box with like most of it green because at the time we were living in Florida and when it was raining, it rained everywhere. So it was just all green and it was the world's shittiest thing. I couldn't tell if it was the land or if it was the rain.
Honestly, fair.
I feel like this will be an interesting implementation if they decide to go a little bit more with it, like having, like if iPause, if iPause starts pushing more images to those devices, like if this is going to be like through like the WEA spec, start pushing images to the cars as well for like a quick glance and stuff like that.
Which would make complete sense though, because a lot of cars nowadays have
huge
cellular.
screens,
they have cellular capability.
Not only cellular, but like big high definition screens that you can take advantage of.
Which is good because, like you were saying, if it was like travel link, it's satellite communications.
Satellite communications that's already being used for music.
And it will never, ever
true.
hold a candlelight to how, like, let's say, OnStar works. It's all cellular based. Mm-hmm. And that will give you, one, more
also,
bandwidth.
Major props to OnStar for pioneering that kind of technology way before all the other automakers did that. OnStar's been doing that for years.
This really wants me to like really ask why the US hasn't implemented DAB type FM radio transmission, which makes no sense to you. But I went to Europe. Europe has DAB, which is like an automatic. Which, as you probably know, it automatically changes your frequency based on location. Now, one of the cars I went in has supported traffic alerts. And
was it a Dacia Sandero?
No, it was not. It was a really expensive like Mercedes car. And I legitimately have no fucking clue how they did this or how it works. But we were driving down the middle. We were driving down the fucking M25. Joke, you know, the fucking M25. And so, randomly, the music stopped.
Drive down the M25.
No, the music didn't stop. The music faded out, and then it randomly started playing a traffic report. And then after the finish, it just started to fade back in the music. I'm not entirely sure how they did that, because I only turned it on the way to the Heathrow, and we had the car the last 3 days prior, and it never did that. It just randomly did that. I have zero clue how it does that. But if the US implemented that type of system for their emergency alerts, where like fade in a different type of broadcast for information based on a hazard, that would genuinely
tell you
really
what
cool.
my best bet is with that kind of technology. It's probably when it fades out. It's probably a like keep an idea so for video there's something called a SCSI command, which is it's a data packet sent inside of a video stream. What my guess is something similar to that, where it's a data packet sent through from the station, and what it does is your car will fade out the music and then tune to like a sub channel to play that message. Kind of like how TV stations in the US will have like let's say KECI 13.1 is the main station, 13.2 is your Comet, 13.3, 13.4. But if you had like 97.9.1 and like substreams, kind of like how HD radio works, where it'll just tell the car, hey, there's a traffic report, tune to this, and then each car manufacturer will have a different implementation of how to switch to that subband, and then once it's done, it'll be like,
I just checked Wikipedia on traffic announcements. It's called traffic announcement, or TA. This is genuinely pretty cool. It will pay attention to the flag based in the RDS programming, because Europe has heavy RDS, like really a lot of it. And so it will listen for like that flag. And it might be on a different like sub channel or type of system, and it will record that message, or like it will change that. It can raise the volume. It can do all sorts of things with that message. So what I'm assuming,
your vehicle could handle it.
Your vehicle will automatically record, and it can interrupt it. It can raise the volume when the traffic announcement occurs. That's genuinely pretty cool. Like,
So kind of like there's like a
Nice.
buffer inside the car to hold the
Yeah.
message, and then play
Must,
it
like,
back at
must
whenever
record
the
it and
car
then play it back.
manufacturer. Yeah,
but that's pretty
I'm
cool.
I would assume in that kind of case you could go into your, because if it's a Mercedes,
Yeah,
of
it would
course you're gonna
let
have
you.
the
It would let
technology.
you. It would
Turn on
let me
and off
disable.
that.
It wouldn't. Yeah, that's what it did. It was disabled. It was disabled. I left it on, so I wonder if they'll reset that. I left it on when I left it at the Heathrow Airport Terminal 5. So whoever gets it in next is going to have some traffic updates.
Which isn't a bad thing. I think in the US that could be implemented to way further than traffic. Like having EAS on it. You could have your car take that signal. You could have it cut the crap, like your headers. You could have it cut your attention tone and then just fade out your music, play the message, and then go back to the broadcast. So so listeners don't have to hear the headers, but it's still available to all decoders.
So,
But also at the same time, too, like for me, I mean, there are a lot of cars nowadays, too, with heads-up displays. I wonder if that will take into consideration, like, how it would alert the driver rather than them having to look directly at this infotainment screen.
Or are you kind of talking about with the whole iPods thing?
Yeah.
Which would make sense because it says on here that it's supposed to work directly with the car's navigation system for, let's say, evacuation routes.
So, for digital audio broadcasting in the U.S., I don't think it'll take off. I don't think it would take off. I think with the way that we run radio here, I don't think it would work.
Well,
And
the thing with digital audio broadcasting in Europe is it's basically an FM version of Sirius XM. It's like XM,
and it's also all in. Like
like you
like
can, like
cars.
like on the car, it would show like all these different channels, and they were always the same for the country. Like you can go to like classic news, like 6 BBC channels for obvious reasons, and like all of this stuff can be accessed from pretty much anywhere in the UK, as long as you have a radio, as long as you have and pay for a receiver or a car that supports DAB. It will. It has all these channels, and also probably includes that traffic information thing as well in that price. But
that's one of the things that I feel like is a big blocker, because if they do try introducing DAB, it'll be, if it's the same thing across the entire country, that a lot of people, like myself included, could take. It would be kind of taking away the feel of the localized radio station.
Which the thing is that I could see that being implemented in a way to where like
it would
like I know my car could do it, where like if you go in, like I'd set it up this way to where if I go into a different area, like the GPS will recognize that and re-scan the band and get all your updated information for that local area.
That's not part of the DAB spec.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
And also I feel like, doesn't DAB use like MP2 or MP or just straight up MPEG for its encoding?
I think it does.
So
because then you could have your sub channels for like your traffic.
Yeah,
you could have separate streams.
So, yeah, honestly, what I think would be easier for the United States is to invest more in HD radio, because a lot of the features that we're talking about is already in the HD radio spec.
Yes,
like traffic and stuff. Like you can literally take an SDR, like it's take a software defined radio, get an HD radio receiver application on there, and you can pick up like album art, and if the station provides it, you can pick up traffic information and maps and time zone syncing and all that.
Because all HD radio it's just using the entire bandwidth of that frequency.
Yeah, it's only 30 kilohertz though.
iHeartMedia already supports traffic systems, but I don't know if they're used.
Because my thing is like, they may support it, but it's also an instance of I don't think that like actual radio manufacturers really pay attention to HD
or really care.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like in my car, I have HD radio on every single band except for XM.
And which
I mean, HD radio on AM doesn't make any sense because AM only has the bandwidth for one channel, anyways.
Yeah. Well, at that point, it's just more of an instance of latching onto a higher quality AM feed.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like I'm like, for example, the car that I drive a 2000 Ford Ranger. I have a radio in there. I have an aftermarket radio in there. It has XM. Mm-hmm. Like I put XM in there. I don't use it, but it has it. I was thinking of getting it back. I was thinking of doing like a trial to get back into it, but that's the point. You can get it pretty easily. Like I can just click. Oh, hello, Sirius XM Barker channel. Time to get you for the next monthly. But then I go to radio. I got enhanced RDS. Ain't got no HD radio though. Like HD radio in the aftermarket sense is, from what I can tell, is rare as fuck.
Yeah, because I think you have to have it certified for HD.
Yes.
Kind of like the best thing I can explain it to is Apple MFI, where like if you make an accessory for an iPhone, iPad, Mac, any Apple product, you have to have it certified by Apple.
And that's the thing. And I feel like that's a big blocker, is that
it's a gatekeeper.
Radio manufacturers are like, fuck, because they're like, oh, now I have to get the radio that I've been designing for 2.5 years at least certified with this other organization that may just make the feature just not work.
Yeah, I have to get it certified a second time, the FCC, and then this other company that manages the spec that's not standardized. Yep. And it's not managed by the FCC.
Yeah. Ibequity is the one that handles it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Capitalism.
Yeah.
I was just going to say privatization, but yeah, that works too.
Yeah, well, I mean, they are the ones gatekeeping the spectrum itself. Or not spectrum, but the standards of which utilize it.
Yeah. Which is an interesting approach to it, but I hope that this new system with iPods in the cars will kind of take away that kind of gatekeeping part to emergency alerts. Because who knows? Because iPods can do a lot of things. You could do weather alerts. You can do non-weather emergency messages. You could do national messages. Mm-hmm. It's got everything. So if you have one system, you could just skip all these other methods of doing it and just do it through iPods. Mm-hmm. Which, like we were mentioning in another, like an episode a couple back, that's what everything is moving toward. Mm-hmm. So why not utilize it for what it can do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is wonderful times to be had by all. You know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just all of the really fun times. So actually, here, fun fact: I just pulled up. So I pulled up details on this radio here. This is an aftermarket radio. It's a double DIN. In case you didn't know, it's a large wider screen radio. Yep. It has Sirius XM, wireless Android Auto, and CarPlay. Damn thing! It's got LDAC support, USB-C. Hell, you can even if you have a car that requires stuff and things. If you have a car that requires like a bunch of other stuff, you can even hook up a data link module that acts as an adapter. Nowhere in this listing says that this thing supports HD radio.
Yeah,
and this is Sony. Mm-hmm. Sony is the one that actually is the manufacturer.
If I was to give my best guess to this, granted I've done no research into this, I would say it's probably a lot easier for the car manufacturers just to do it on their own to implement HD radio.
Yeah, but also at the same time too, I don't think Sony would want to pay a premium just to utilize
for something in the United States.
Yeah, I mean they are a primarily Japanese company, so they get to pick and choose.
I would know
what they want to do.
My company's owned by them.
Yeah, so
That's true.
Gabe works for Sony now through Bungie, but
Gotta bow down to my new corporate overlords.
Sony, if you're listening to this, please spare him.
And Dawn, if you somehow figure out that I'm on this podcast, just know we're not making any money from this. So technically, it's not a violation
not
of the
sponsored.
policy that we have. So
Not sponsored. We're not making any money. This is an enthusiast group. But anyways, yeah, I think the whole iPods and
ping me on
thing
Teams if you have a problem with it, Dawn.
Ping me on Teams. But yeah, I think that this is a good step forward into
Imagine Microsoft Teams.
To me, I think this whole iPods and vehicles thing, I think it, instead of more of a like implementing a feature, I think this is a proof of concept to what iPods can actually do. Yeah, this would be awesome to have, but I feel like in its current state, it's a proof of concept that this is possible in its current state. And if it's not fully supported, it wouldn't take much to do it.
Yeah.
Think about it. Think about it. You have GM cars. They have OnStar. So they already have 5G and 4G receivers. So why not implement iPods in that? Because iPods is a really low bandwidth using service. Until you get into, images and text. But even then,
videos,
it's a short burst.
Yeah.
So
Even then, you'll find
in the state of current networking through cell carriers, it's nothing. It's a drop in the water.
And also, here's the other thing too. We've been doing this for so long, like legitimately. Cars have had OnStar since 1997.
So it's an incubated thing. But I mean, granted, other than GM cars, they still have cell receivers.
Even then, OnStar for a while provided receivers for Acura, Audi,
for any
Subaru,
car,
Volkswagen.
yeah.
But yeah, and then as an option, and then also like the other thing is like nowadays everybody's doing it. Ford has the Ford Pass, the Ford Pass Sync modem or whatever.
Yeah, and Honda has Honda Link.
And then
Acura, well, in sense, Honda has Honda Link. Acura is Acura Link because the two companies are owned.
And then you have Chrysler,
which is your
Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge.
Yeah, that entire which is I think the official
Stellantis, because now they have like Fiat and stuff.
Yeah,
so, like Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram,
I think
Alfa Romeo, and Fiat.
The entire umbrella is Daimler Chrysler.
Yeah.
No, it's actually they changed their name to Stellantis.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
It's Stellantis now.
So it went from Daimler Chrysler to
No, apparently they never went by that name.
Really? Because I remember that was something that they kind of like their umbrella.
Yeah.
They only went by that name from 98 to 2007.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That is true.
But anyways, I digress. So at least I didn't say I digest. No, I'm kidding.
Shut.
Yeah, I think
silence.
The way that technology is moving, it doesn't take much to integrate systems like this into cars. Like a cell receiver costs the price of an antenna and a cheap cell subscription for the manufacturer.
Yep.
And even then, most of the time you're going to pass that on to your consumer anyways. So what's the point?
That's true.
Yep.
OnStar or not, it's still a cell receiver. Which I think is a really good approach to this. It's like the article stated. It's WEA, but has better capabilities.
It's WEA, but with it should be the episode title. This should be the episode title. WEA, but yes.
WEA, but yes. That will be the episode name.
So if you're watching this and the episode is not WEA, but yes, you can go ahead and just
blame Cameron.
Complain to Cam.
You can go ahead and unfollow the ERN podcast and
complain
delete it
to
from all your
Cam. It
devices.
is Cam the Man 65 WX pound 0001 on Discord.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Call the GWES ERN phone and dial 3000.
You call 941-348-2853 extension 3000.
Call ERN and then immediately regret.
Sorry, not sorry, Cam.
Oh my gosh. Maybe I need to put my phone on Do Not Disturb from now on. But anyways. So,
Polium.
Dawn.
Pull a Dawn. Actually, no, it's a Dawn and a Fricks right now.
Yeah, they're always... Do not call my phone.
Oh.
But anyways, yeah, so I guess I could give a little bit of a teaser to our next episodes. We have a whole plethora of topics. There's one with if we can get Anna in here on the next episode, there is iPOS V4.01 on the way. There is some, let's see.
And if Anna can come in, I
guess you know what we could do touch on this before we go is the weather.gov servers.
So the weather, yeah. Fun fact. Did you know that those very weather.gov servers got fucking flooded at one point?
Yeah, I heard about that.
And weren't they still operational too?
Yes. The server room flooded, but they kept that shit live.
Wasn't that in Silver Spring?
No, that was SBC and frickin' Norman.
Oh, I'm surprised it wasn't Silver Spring because of the amount of flood warning storming issues.
If anyone in the IT department of NWS is listening to this podcast, please tell us how you did that.
I've been through a water event. I've been through a water event that cost $2 million to recover. Trust me.
I also want to side noting this, but a lot of NWS server rooms actually have wires under the floor, and the floorboards can actually be removed.
Yep.
So it's more damage than you think.
It's raised floors.
But yeah, so the weather.
Actually, I went in the Silver Spring data center. It's very cold in there. Well, no shit,
yes.
But like,
so what I guess
what kind of configuration was it? Was it fresh air or was it cold side, hot side? Between each row, like with the front side's cold and the back side's warm.
I think it was all cold. They just told us the room had to stay really cold.
Probably a fresh air config then.
Yeah,
what we do know about the whole thing is that it was August 30th in the afternoon that the servers went offline because there was faulty power supplies. It wasn't like a system failure. They just took them offline because there was power supply failures that were being noticed.
This is why you run redundant power supplies.
Which the thing is, though, I've heard that they do. So they either just got super unlucky and both failed, or they didn't have one installed.
Redundancy matters.
Redundancy matters, which is why they had they issued a public statement about it that they have a second data center that can run weather.gov in where is it? In College Park.
Mm-hmm.
This is the whole backup ready to go. Mm-hmm.
Well. Actually, the main server is College Park, but if they flip of a lever, they can transfer control to the other one. There's a literal emergency handle on the wall or something that if you pull it, it will fuck everything up. If I remember that correctly.
It says
an actual handle.
It's an EPO.
Yeah, because
is it an EPO or does it activate the halon?
Probably both. Or something.
You know what I mean whenever I say EPO?
Yeah. Fun stuff.
I'm asking John.
Not really. Fun stuff, though.
EPO, emergency power off. Basically, it cuts the feed to the breaker panel.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Servers.
Yeah, so, there's two bad power supplies were discovered in KC, so they moved those applications to College Park for the time being. So.
Yeah. So, on today's episode of why you should be using AWS as a backup as well. AWS, Azure, anything. This is why iPod switched to AWS GovCloud.
Yeah, because
DHS servers suck so much.
No, you know what it should be? It should be the main weather.gov server should be on AWS or Azure, and then it should
AWS.
just pull info from your data centers.
Mm-hmm.
So that you have one
If your
point, but
data
then there
center
can be
links
as
go
many
down, you
failures
can still
underneath.
have the servers up.
I think the NWS is actually trying
Drunk.
to. The NWS is actually trying to switch to AWS.
That's good.
Which would make sense, though, because GovCloud gives them such a good deal on it.
Yeah, GovCloud is literally designed for that. So they should be using the resources that they already have.
It has near 100% uptime.
Yeah, I think they're like a 4 or 5, or I think they're a 4.59 uptime, right? Uptime guarantee.
Yeah, and if not, I guess they have some sort of policy on that, but I know that GovCloud has the highest priority for redundancy. And especially like you save all your like data on S3 as well. You have all of your info there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can archive it for centuries on there.
Yeah.
At least in theory. But like AWS runs like half the internet. So why not hop on that too and make a more reliable internet? Especially for public warning stuff.
Exactly.
Oh, this is when Noah did that open house in Silver Spring. That's why I remember going to that. Here.
I'm looking at I'm looking up their compute SLAs here.
Mm-hmm.
I actually found it.
Oh, it looks like they're wow. Whoa. That's a lot less than I thought it would be.
What, for their uptime?
They're only 2.9. They're only a 2.9 uptime guarantee on their compute.
Here,
Which
Gabe,
the thing is though, within AWS there are a ton of options, because I run AWS for certain projects of mine. You can have it so that once one even has the slightest indication of going wrong, it'll immediately get another instance ready and then switch between them seamlessly.
Gabe, I sent you a picture from the open house they had in W in Silver Spring. That's the data room. I don't know.
Man, those are some clean wire runs, but I've seen cleaner.
There's a lot of rack in there.
They're not. No.
Oh no.
Oh God. No. Oh, they're running their patch panels in the ceiling.
Oh no.
Oh, gross.
Keep in mind, they have floor space under the floor. They don't use that for that.
You don't run your patch panels in the ceilings.
Send that to Anna, she'll freak out. Moral story is...
if you're an IT person at NWS...
I really want to see Anna's... I really want to see Anna's reaction to that shit.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have anything else you guys want to touch on in this episode.
Anyway, this episode is sponsored by redundancies.
Nobody.
Redundancies, actually. Because I had him solve
this episode of the ERN podcast is sponsored by our advice to you.
By the way, and fun fact. You ready? Mm-hmm. For Azure, the SLA is 4.9 uptime. So if you want uptime, go for Azure.
Isn't Azure actually pretty reasonable?
Oh, dude, Azure is great.
It's catching up with AWS pretty fast.
Azure's actually there are some things about Azure that tops AWS.
Like native AD integration.
The Azure AD, you can have stuff authenticate against Azure. The free credits really that you get, the free credits that you get with the being with the business, having an MSDN license, and if you're already working in a Microsoft ecosystem, it doesn't take that much to get into it. And also, the Azure Virtual Desktop System is cool as hell. So if you're ever familiar with VDI basically is with VDI is basically a system where for end user devices you just remote in to a virtual machine that's spin up and spun down on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
Azure has that. It's built in.
Because aren't they also computers optimized for general compute as well?
Mm-hmm.
My school district actually, I think, uses some type of Azure or type of VM type system.
Knowing school districts, they're probably running that on VMware Horizon.
Mm-hmm. Mine is so bad. The IT guy at my school hates it so bad because you have to actually multi-factor authentication with another device when you're trying to log in, like on one screen, secure. And then you have to have, like, you actually have to tap it on another phone while you have the other device up. And they hate it, and I'm like, well, security, I guess.
See, that is actually a really good way to do it.
The genuine only reason why they have to virtual into that machine is to check the printer status of every single printer in the entire school.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It's Fairfax County.
It's a use. Honestly, I respect it.
Yeah.
Fairfax County has a weird. Fairfax County has a weird.
You gotta have a way to manage.
Mm-hmm.
My school laptop
printers are not fun to manage because they are a bitch sometimes.
Bruh, remember that story I told you about Gabe? Remember when I tried to replace that? Remember when I tried to replace that printer toner? They literally told me that was defective after I came back, and I'm like, oh well, oops.
Okay, would you like to hear something hilarious?
Oh, okay.
You think managing printers is bad? You want to know what we do at Bungie?
You have to manage data clusters.
We AD bind our printers.
Oof.
Our printers are AD bound with dedicated exchange mailboxes for each one.
That is useful.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, because I'm assuming that would allow you just to send like PDFs and shit to it and it just print it out.
Yeah, you could do that. Or you could just not, because, you know, who needs paper?
Who needs paper when you can PDF?
Exactly. Who needs paper when you can DocuSign?
Who needs paper when you can? Who needs paper when you can just use paper digital format PDF?
Also,
even though that is probably definitely not the acronym.
Hold on a second. PDF acronym. What is the acronym PDF? Portable document format.
It should be paper in digital form.
Valid point. It
is a valid one. On a completely unrelated note, kind of going back to the HD radio thing, doing some research, turns out the main manufacturer of HD radios for aftermarket is actually Pioneer.
Which would make sense, though. They're a leader in that industry.
Exactly. For the low price of $450, you can get a Pioneer radio with HD radio, Sirius XM, and certain smartphone control features like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, Spotify, built-in Spotify control that goes off of your phone, that kind of thing.
Oh, so kind of like a built-in Spotify car
that
thing.
Would actually be a genuine upgrade to my car because my car's 2009 and doesn't even have RDS.
I want to. Honestly, I'm tempted to upgrade to this one, but then I have to redo my wiring harness because my wiring harness right now is set up for my.
I don't even know how to do that, and I don't even know how to fix my car right now because it has a broken left turn signal. On nice Sonata 2009.
I can't help you on the turn signal part if you want, but if you want help with the wiring,
fuck the turn signal. It literally goes click, 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 like really fast while I'm trying to.
That means you have a burnt out bulb.
It means you have a burnt out bulb.
And I don't know how to take the fucking front of the car off and fix it, so I'm just letting my dad figure it out.
Most of the time, it'll only do that for rear.
No, you open up the hood, and you can open up the hood, reach into the back, and you can take the bulb out of the thing.
It's just a little screw.
Yeah.
But anyways,
your car's owner's manual should have this information.
But don't worry, I have two bulbs. I can still fuck one up. That's why they put two in there.
No,
we put a second one in there just in case you fuck it up on the first try.
Must be a BMW. No, I'm kidding.
Must be. Sounds like your bulbs are made by D brand.
They're actually, they're actually.
Sorry, you need to pay a subscription for
the
your
reference from, by the way. That's where I got the reference from.
But yeah, I
got that when I was putting the screen protector on my Switch.
I know, right?
But yeah, I don't think I have anything else that I really want to talk about this week. If you guys do, go for it.
I'm good.
I'm done.
Yeah, good episode here. So if you like what you've heard so far, you can subscribe to the GWES ERN podcast on literally every platform available because I made it fucking everywhere.
including Spotify and Apple Podcasts, because people use Apple Podcasts. What the fuck?
I do. Fuck you.
People use it.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't use it. I don't. So I'm in that camp.
I'm pretty sure Apple Podcasts is still the number one for podcasts.
Hold on. Let's see. Hold up. Top podcast.
Okay.
apps.
I'm gonna go on the.
100%, I think,
Holy
with
shit! You're right.
I'm gonna go on our podcast manager. I'm gonna see what the number one platform is for our podcast.
This is genuinely really fun.
Hold up.
Let's see. The number one the number one platform is iOS.
And I'm
fucking.
And then what is the second one? Is it like Spotify or something?
No, number 2 is Windows.
Okay, I'm referring to the actual application as opposed to
the actual application is Spotify.
It is Spotify.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Microsoft Bing Bot.
We've been crawled. Oh no.
Oh no, the Bing Lords.
We've been crawled.
It also shows me like all the platforms that people listen on, and so it's iOS, Windows, Mac OS, Android, Watch OS, Chrome OS, TV OS,
what?
Alexa platforms, and Apple HomePod.
So the one person so shout out to the one person who actually owns an Apple HomePod and listens to the ERN podcast.
Me.
Is that you?
I know. I've never listened on my HomePod.
I have a Google Home Mini. I have a Google Home Mini over there.
Here, hold on a second.
Hold
on. Ready? Hey Google, play the GWES ERN podcast.
I looked for the Play the G podcast on Spotify, but it either isn't available or can't be played right now.
What's the podcast called on Spotify?
It's the same. It's the same everywhere. It's the GWES ERN podcast.
Hold on. Here. I'm about to
So
pull
for
some
reference,
shit.
I want to give out a quest to our community. I want someone to listen to our podcast on Temple OS.
Welcome to Status Quo.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Status Quo. John went to
Play
the
the GWES ERN
Wait.
podcast.
Wait.
He left the country. We have no idea where he is now. Well, I guess that's what WNYC does to you. And welcome to the...
All right. Fun fact: that was me using Spotify Connect to push it over.
But anyway, so yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this episode. If you like what you're hearing, you can literally listen to it on everything because it is.
Listen to it on your mom.
Guys, my Google fucked up so bad it started to play something that doesn't exist and then couldn't play it because content blockers were on.
So, anyways,
Yeah, anyways.
Hey, here, I'll take over the outro. Thank you for watching Thank you for watching, listening. Injecting the ERN podcast straight into your ear hole. If you like what you're hearing, you can literally listen to it on any platform, including your local hospital's IV machine. If it has a web browser, if you can play Doom on it, you can probably listen to the ERN podcast on it as well. If you listen to the podcast on the Samsung Smart Refrigerator, let us know, and we'll happily send you a non-existent T-shirt. But yeah, thank you for listening to the ERN podcast.
If someone listens to it on a Samsung Smart Fridge, I want you to send me a direct message with that picture, and I will put you on the ERN podcast. This episode is totally not sponsored by something. This episode is sponsored by some random VPN company. Stop God from seeing what you're Raid
doing
Shadow
online.
Legends.
This video is sponsored by
this episode is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. I'm just kidding.
This video is sponsored by GWES VPN. I mean, what?
This video is sponsored by Gabriel S. McMillan.me VPN service that's only available to 7 people. Stop God from looking what you're doing online.
But yeah, so if you have any suggestions for what we could put on the GWES ERN podcast, you can go to erncrtv.com/podcast. There's a form there. If you send it, it'll send it directly to us. So yeah,
well, send it directly to Cam. I don't have
of course, it's going to send it to me. I'm the executive producer here.
You're the executive
totally.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go.
I'm gonna change my role in Discord to that now.
All right. But yeah, thanks for listening to the ERN podcast. I'm Gabriel Camp, the executive fuckboy. He was here. John 2.7, and then Isaiah,
2.0.
the meme lord.
Yes, of course.
I just exist.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.